Hello and welcome to Board Stupid. My name's Wayne.
And I'm Matt.
And this is our review
of SETI.
SETI is a game where you are doing some sci without the fi.
Yeah, but with a little bit of fi.
A little tiny bit of fi.
We'll see why.
We will see why. And if you'd like to see why, then we'd very much like you to
hit the subscribe button, please.
Absolutely. Come and do that. You don't need any intergalactic technology.
No
spaceship
like
required. Yeah. No large Hadron Collider. Just press a button.
Yeah, and that's basically done.
And that's it, basically done.
Yeah.
So let's dig in and find out what all the fuss is about. SETI.
Let's go.
Rolling dice, feeling nice, cardboard dreams and game schemes. Click subscribe, it's a vibe. Board Stupid's all we need. Board Stupid, game reviews for you and me. Board Stupid, here's what you should play and see.
SETI, Search for Extra-terrestrial Intelligence, is a Eurogame for 1 to 4 players which sees you lead a scientific institution tasked with searching for traces of life beyond planet Earth. On your turn, you're going to pick one of 8 options for your main action of the round and do as many free actions as you have resources for. For example, you could choose to launch a probe as your main action on Earth and then move it around using energy from your supply or throwing away cards as your free actions. On a future turn, you could land the probe on one of the planets, or you could send it to orbit. Each one of these will give you numerous bonuses and potentially signs of alien life. Or alternatively, you could scan the nearby stars, collecting data to crunch in your computer. If you've collected all the data in your computer, you can analyze it again for a sign of life. Or if you wanted to upgrade your player board, you can do so by spending your publicity to take a technology and placing it in your player board, making your actions more effective. When you research a technology, or at the end of the round, you're going to move this marker forwards and move the matching part of the player board around. This will change the setup of the board for the next player. You'll either be moving the top, or the middle, or the bottom layer, depending on where this token is. Eventually, enough signs of life will be found to discover a new alien race, giving new spaces and point scoring opportunities. Everything that you do in SETI has the potential to get you points. Signs of life, scanning, landing probes, and it's the person with the most points at the end that's the winner. So Matt, this is it's a Eurogame for sure.
It's a very good Eurogame.
It's a very good Eurogame. Yeah, absolutely. And it is nice and wide. As we've talked about many times on the show, this is a wide game in terms of its rules complexity.
Yes.
It is a somewhat complicated game. It has some depth to it, but it is certainly wider than it is deep.
It is.
There's lots of things that you can do.
Yeah, let's say it's full of what I would call like mini games into the main game. So again, as we saw, we're going around the universe, so around the galaxy, trying to find these aliens, and all collectively we're gonna move around planets, send out probes, and upgrading our ship, upgrading our probes, landing on planets, trying to find the stuff on the planets. All of this then will collectively help us to find some of this.
Some aliens.
The alien life. Once you find this alien life, no spoiler, we're not going to tell you which one because it's very fun to find your first time. But these aliens will simply add another mini game to the general thing. So now you start seeing like where you got movement and researching of technology, the map that is moving around, the
launching of probes,
exploring the planets, dealing with the aliens. There start being quite a lot of things going on.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is one of those games, Matt, that has this really an intensifying arc to it.
It does.
It starts really quite restrictive, this game, where you only have a few resources to spend and do what. And typically in the first round, you're going to maybe launch a probe, move it around a bit, and maybe you'll get a couple of things, and then that's your round.
Yes.
But by the time you get to like round 4 in this game, you're like pinging off
You ramp
combos,
up, yes.
you're like using cards, you're getting a bunch of stuff, you're getting new technologies, you're scanning nearby stars. There's this really exciting point where this is a tipping point in the game where suddenly you feel all powerful. You can do almost anything that you like.
And then the game's end.
And then the game ends. And then the game ends.
It's one of those. It's one of those Euro games
Yeah.
where you start building your combos or your. It's not an engine, but the fact that you can upgrade your ship that's gonna give you this, and it's gonna send your probe to a different planet for nothing.
Yeah.
And getting this is gonna give you that. Blah 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 blah. So you start seeing toward the end of the game a lot of these mega combos that are super cool to see. You don't really get to explore them fully, but this is part of the game. It's
That's
just
part
like,
and
because
parcel
otherwise,
of it.
it
I think
would be-
you said when we played the first time, Matt, actually you wish it was somewhat longer.
I wish it was longer. Yes,
like another round, and it's
exactly
already,
because of that.
You want to be able to feel the full power of your engine that you've built. But I think that's like a lot of engine building games, right? They normally cut short just as things get good.
It does, it does. But especially it wasn't a complaint. It's just like because I was enjoying it so much that I wanted to have more. Especially when you finally discovered the two alien race for the games. That let's remind to the guys, these alien race, you don't know at the start which one they are.
It's 2 of 5, I believe.
2 out of 5. You pick them up blind and putting them down, and only once you get the criteria to actually find out which one are you starting the mini games for the aliens. I found it like that in all the games that we had, we never really explored 100% of those of the alien stuff, but it's part of the game. Again, it depends what all the other players are doing. If there is a very big component from all the people around the table about the exploration, that you might find the alien life very early stages. While otherwise, if everybody start thinking about just like upgrading their technology and doing other stuff, it's kind of like the aliens will come later into the game. There is a mechanics onto the board with the scoring. At a certain point, the alien race will gonna be discovered, whatever the other players are doing. But it just like to add that things at toward the end of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you say, mate, really, when these come out, it does add additional rules, but what we found is it's not a massive lift.
No.
It's typically just slightly more of the same, or in a slightly different way. There's never massive amounts of complicated things that you really have to worry about. It's like a couple of different rules, and that's it.
Exactly. For example, like I'm gonna show you this one. Is probably the less.
I think that's my favourite one, actually.
But it's the less fine of
the less fine.
So as you can see here. You basically adding more scoring mechanisms to the game. So there's gonna be other way where you can score it. Whoever can place their probe on this position, you will get some markers. And on top of that, there are some alien species where you will try to get the sample from the alien whatever and bring it back on Earth. Otherwise, others you trying to not fighting them, but. Again, no spoilers, but it's kind of like I was really worried at the start when we start playing, especially the first time, because when the alien came out, you took out the cards with the alien race that explain the extra rules, and I was like, whoa, that is a lot of text. However, it's not. It's not really.
Simple. I mean, it's just there's a lot of explanatory explanation text, but in terms of the actual rules lift, it's quite light. Matt, let's talk about a couple of things that you can do in this game. So I really, really like the sort of tech upgrade system in this game, where it helps make everything slightly more efficient. You're sort of racing your probes around the solar system, getting publicity for doing cool stuff. And then like everyone at home is like, oh, you're so cool, we're going to give you funding. And when you get that funding, this publicity, you can then spend it to take one of these technologies, and they're all great. They help you do amazing stuff, and they all feel powerful. You kind of want them all.
You want them all, but you're not gonna get them all. You're not gonna even go close to get them all, because that's how the game is.
You kind of have to pick a couple of avenues, right? You can upgrade your supercomputer, which is great. So every time you're collecting data from the nearby stars, it's going to make it even more valuable. You're going to be racking up more points or racking up more bonuses. or instead you can get the ability to have 2 probes out in the solar
Instead
system,
of one,
which is super powerful.
It kind of like doubles your
scoring potential.
Scoring, yes.
That's really cool. Or you can make landing on planets cheaper, which seems really cool as well.
Yeah,
I mean, that's really great.
Let's remember that is in a worker placement way. Whoever gets first onto a planet will get more points and more resources. So there is a little bit of race between the other players to trying to get to that specific planet before the others.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it gives you better stuff.
Gives you better stuff. If you get there first, you get there first.
You can get to Saturn before anybody else.
Yeah, I can tell all the press, look, I made it first. Which is really, really cool. There is a technology here which I really like, which allows you to land your probes on the moons, and the moons on this board are worth so many points.
Yeah, I mean, it's more difficult to get there, right?
You've got to land it on this tiny plane, and that's really cool, and you kind of want that too. What this game gives you is lots of crunchy choices all of the time.
Yes.
Because you've got 8 options on your menu of main actions, and you're like, okay, which one of these do I do? And then you've got, okay, which technology do I want? And then actually, which planet do I go to? And then, okay, if I'm going to get a technology, or you're going to get one next round, is that going to affect where I can go next time if these start to rotate? There's lots of things to consider.
Yes, it does, and you got very limited resources. So this is one of those games where you're not going to have infinite resources there. You cannot spend them all. You're going to have a very few.
Yeah.
That means that the action that you can take are very limited. Again, this is where we can probably start talking about the card elements, so the deck building elements of the game.
This card play is amazing because this is multi-use cards.
Yes,
I like multi-use cards, where you can use the cards for a number of things. You can either play them for their cost, and they'll give you some sort of either ongoing effect or mission or something.
Yes,
right?
Or give you something.
Or a big bonus.
You get.
You pay, you get, exactly. Or you can discard them for a bonus in the top left corner. And that, I think you'll be doing more often than not in this game.
Yes, probably not at the start, but toward the end of the game, when you're you spend all your resources, you don't know what you can do, you can start basically burning cards
to get more. Extend your round a little bit longer.
And that's where with the open market, with the fact at the end of your round you're getting more cards, and so you start building that your deck, so you can start saying, all right, I can take this card now because if I pay for its cost, it's gonna launch me a probe for free. But at the same time, is burning bonus is gonna help me out toward the end of the game. So there are probably not the first times you're gonna play the game, you're gonna get into that, but the more you play, the more you start thinking strategically even of which card you're gonna take from the market.
Yeah, because the longer you keep it in your hand, it's not gonna do anything, but there's no downside to having it in your hand.
Yeah.
So you might. And what I feel about the cards in this game, Matt, is they're quite tactical. I feel like when you take these cards, they might have like a mission on them, but you shouldn't really go chasing those missions.
No.
You should, if you kind of are going to go and do that anyway, then it's worth taking that specific card. But as I was experimenting when we were playing, I was like, I'm going to just mess about with a few missions. But as I was going for them, the points reward wasn't enough for the effort that I put in.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You can get a little bit stuck into the mission on the cards, and not getting a lot at the end of the game.
Where you could have been scanning, or you could have been launching more probes, which is way more valuable in terms of points benefit.
Yeah, let's talk about the scanning, because that is instead the area majority. So we started talking about with the worker placement with the probe, moving around and placing your probes onto the planet.
Card deck type thing going on, open market.
And then we're going into the area majority. So
this mini game.
So this is another mini game. So the area majority, as you can see, this blue section, this blue data token here. Every time that you scan a specific sector, for example, this sector here, you will be able to take the blue cubes, for the blue token from here, and replace it with one of yours. Once this sector is completely scanned, means that all the blue tokens are gone,
and replaced by player tokens.
You basically, around the table, you score the points, so you see who's got the majority for that area, and of course that player is going to get
some sort
really
of bonus.
Nice.
Yeah, so typically they'll get some points, they'll get a sign of alien life, which again is points, because everything in this game is basically points.
Yes.
So you want to try and get majorities of these. That will then reset, and then you can possibly do it again.
Yeah, and
really cool.
so this is again another
mini game.
another
An
mini
area
game.
majority type thing going on here as well.
Of all these mini games, I felt that sometimes the game can go one way or the other, where no one does the scanning, or no one does the supercomputer, or no one, because it's very wide. However, a more expert gamer, once you play the more, you start realizing how you kind of like need to keep an eye on all these.
You kind of need to do a little bit of everything, right? Because you kind of want your hands in all of the different types of
in a lot of pies.
A lot of pies, because
galactic pies.
Yeah, galactic pies. You can only get sort of one type of sign of life through scanning.
Yeah.
You can only get another type of sign of life through landing on planets, and you can only get the third type of sign of life through your data on your computer, through your supercomputer. So you kind of need to do a little bit of everything in order to make sure that you have the most point scoring opportunities.
Exactly.
The only thing that is going to, I suppose, focus you in one way or the other, but what you do more of will be the technologies that you buy. So if I buy more of the supercomputer technologies, I'm going to be more inclined to scan.
Yeah.
Because if I scan, it gets me to the data, which then gets me to. So I'm looking at two things here. Or alternatively, I might be going all in on just chucking probes out and landing all over the planets, because there's massive points to get here.
It is.
But I'm not necessarily discovering alien life as quickly as I might be through scanning and through this process. So there's lots to think about. It's a tremendously wide but enjoyable game with lots of interesting decisions.
It is, absolutely. And again, we haven't spoke so far about, but we all seen it.
The spinny.
The spinny table here.
Yeah.
So this is another mechanics that adds to the game. So every end of the turn, or sometimes during the game, depending on what the players are doing, you will have to spin one of the sectors.
Yes.
That means that your probe that is on the map might spin all the way around where you don't want that to be. For example,
into an asteroid.
Into an asteroid, and then it's going to cost you more movement points to get it out of there. So there is as well that movement phase that you need to keep an eye on if you want to get your probe on the right planet. Because if your probe is a completely opposite side of Jupiter, you need to go there.
Jupiter.
Well,
that's a miss.
tough.
Yeah, tough. Yeah, exactly. You got to be prepared to spend a lot of cards.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, very wide. I would say as wide as Endless Winter, maybe.
I don't know. Maybe.
I think it's that. So to me, it's that.
It gives you that feeling.
That wide.
Okay.
But I do prefer SETI a million times.
Okay, well, fair enough. I think it's very, very interesting what it does. It has similar feel to something like Terraforming Mars, like Ark Nova, but we'll cover a little bit of that a little bit later. But first, let's talk about the production.
Let's go. Okay, Wayne. CG is not new to very good production, very good products.
True.
So stuff that they put in a box.
Yes.
But I think with this one, they went whoop.
They really did.
Another level.
And more to the point, Matt, I think you can get this game for about £60, which, considering
stuff that is in the box,
everything that you get in the box, I think that is tremendous value. I mean, and the amount of playability, the amount of game that you get.
Yes.
There is a lot here. In terms of how this looks like a very impressive board, but actually it's kind of separate pieces. These are like jigsaw bits that fit together. This is kind of separate bits. This is a separate board, and this is a separate board. So it's not like one giant board in some fancy thing that folds out. So it goes back in the box quite easily. It's in pieces.
Yes, it does.
It's quite clever production. It also has these double layer boards. It's done that CGE thing that they do a lot of, which is actually it's one piece that you punch out and then fold it and stick together, which is very clever. Keeps the cost down for the double thickness stuff,
and it works absolutely fine.
Works great.
Artworks and palette and everything is great, especially with the cards. So the artwork on the cards, I love it. Again, remind everybody that all the stuff that you can see on the cards and everything in the game beside the aliens, because unfortunately we haven't found any aliens yet, but all the tech that are showed on the cards, they're all stuff that actually exists in real life.
It's stuff.
There is
look, you've got the ISS.
There's been a
big Galileo mission. It's all stuff that you know. which is cool.
And this adds to the game that kind of like teaching elements as well, because it's cool if you like.
There is flavor text.
Yeah, exactly.
For
each
every
one
single card that tells you about exactly what it is that the thing is doing, which is really cool.
And I do love that. And again, the stack of cards that you get in the box is huge.
Oh, I mean, this for the sake of setting this game up, this is barely half of the cards that I've done. There is another. This stack is huge. All unique cards, by the way.
Yeah,
completely unique.
That adds a lot to the game. So you're not gonna get the same card for a long time.
Yeah, right.
Usually.
Yeah.
And for the rest, all the components, absolutely brilliant. So. What you paying, you getting more than what you paid. I think, because it's a very, very good thing. The only thing that I would have done differently, I would have more aliens live. Because you got 5 in the game. The first time that you're playing, it's gonna be like, oh wow, what is that? Oh, that's so cool. The second, third, the fourth time, if it's gonna be like, oh, is that mini game added to the game? There is nothing wrong about it, but it just like, to me, give it a little bit more flavor.
Yeah, and actually, I think on the subject of the aliens, there's some I just don't think are very good. Like, some of them are great, but I think there's at least 2 of them that I'm like, meh.
Yeah,
I didn't think it added a lot to.
Yes, I do agree. A couple of them reminds me a lot of some famous movies.
Okay.
But I'm gonna keep it that. If you know, write it down in the comment which one I'm referring to.
Fair enough.
If you're a sci-fi 80s, 90s aficionados, you will know what I'm talking about. But yeah, apart from that, because it's just like doesn't add that spiciness after you saw them like 4 or 5 times. But again, this is just my thing of being a sci-fi enthusiast and wanting more.
That's fair enough.
That is simply.
I mean, this one that we've already opened up is my favourite one, I think, because I think it's this one, where you are sending signals and then waiting for a reply.
Oh yes.
That feels thematic. It takes ages for the reply to come back.
Of course.
Like it would do, because it has to travel through
like
space.
a certain movie, but if you know, you know.
So, which I really like. It's a nice thematic addition.
Yeah.
But some of them, I think there's one which is like, it's like a risk-reward thing, where if you do too much of it, then you lose points at the end.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, I don't think that was necessary. I think, I do think some of them are better than the others. I think it's quite a generic sciencey theme.
Yes.
I mean, I think it looks fine, but I don't think it looks beautiful. But that's my taste.
I think that in a game this wide, with the board so busy, to me is, can I read what's going on?
Is it readable? Yes.
And to me, yes, it's absolutely readable. Again, first times you're gonna see it, you're gonna be like, oh my god, a lot. Yeah. But actually, the fact that you got everything on your board as well, what you can do during your turn, got
this
an
player
amazing,
is amazing. By
really, probably one of the best I've seen in ages.
It's just all of the rules.
Yeah.
It's like all of the rules in this.
And all the and all the little rules as well. So it's not just the main rules. It gives you like each icon, what it does, good. Even if you don't need it. Everything is there, so it's absolutely great.
And also CG have done their own rules teach video, which is fantastic. So watch that and you will know how to play.
More people doing these heavier games should do something like that, and they did it in a very, very good.
It was perfect. Absolutely perfect for that. Yeah, Matt, production pretty good, I think.
Yeah, it's really good. So let's go to the next section. Let's talk about who this game is for and
some other bits. Yeah. So Matt, who do you think this game is for?
You like Eurogames?
I do.
You like heavy Eurogames?
Sometimes.
This then is for you.
Okay, cool. There you go. Job done.
Simple as that. I think it's even if you don't care at all about the theme, about being in space and being that, to me adds a lot. That's why I did say that it's been one of my favorite Eurogame
recently.
In many years, I would say. But the theme it could be set aside for a second when we're talking about the actual game and actually how the game works. Because I think it's really snappy. There is a lot of things that you need to look at, but if you're looking for an heavier Eurogame, you're looking for those kind of things, and you want all those mechanics to work smoothly.
That's fair. I don't think, Matt, that this is doing anything particularly new.
No,
This is a collection of super cool minigames. That are that interact really in a really fun, satisfying way.
It doesn't anything new beside taking all those mechanics and making it work actually.
Sort of shaking them up and going.
Actually, very well, because we saw other games where the Eurogames have got this mechanic and this mechanic, this mechanic, this mechanic, but then they are kind of like
it feels a bit piecemeal. Yeah, they kind of bash against each other.
Well, this one, everything is flows. It flows and it makes sense. And if you do this, you get in that. And if you wanted to do the other things, you need to do the other stuff.
The interaction between them is really fun, really satisfying, really enjoyable. I don't think this is a game for you if you always want to play this at 4 players, because I think actually 3 is probably a better count than 4.
Yes.
Because it does. Towards the end game in rounds 4 and 5, your turns will extend quite a long time.
Yeah.
And it can really stretch the game out quite a lot.
Yeah, and if you got a lot of, you have to think a lot if you got your AP toward the end when you can do like this or that combo, but both the combos is gonna take like the entire turn. It just like it can be
it can grind a little bit, right? It can slow down a bit.
Especially toward the end of the game, you kind of like trying to maximize the points that you can do. So you got your cards, you got your probes, you got your points. You literally like kind of like need to calculate what you're gonna do. But hey, it's space exploration. You need to calculate everything.
If you're happy to sit in for a good 3-hour crunchy experience, this will be for you, because this will be a minimum 3 hours. So it's a big chunky game. If you've got the full 4-player count, at least 3, probably closer to 4. If you've got 3 players, slightly less. 2 players, I don't think it works very well.
We played it 2 players, and I definitely enjoyed more with the I account, with 3 and 4.
I agree.
2 felt like very much we both playing a very separate game. There was not much interaction, because with the 4 people, it's a space race, so you're trying to get there before the others.
I want to get all of these on my data.
And if I see that Wayne is going that way, I'm gonna go the other way, more or less getting the same points. While with 4 people, you never know who's gonna do
more interaction.
Yes, exactly.
Way more interaction. So, if you are happy to play in 3 or 4 players, you don't mind a nice long crunchy Euro, and you like a sci-fi theme, then this is absolutely going to be for you, I think.
And what games would you recommend in alternative, or if you like those games, you're going to like this?
I think if you like something like Ark Nova, or if you like something like Terraforming Mars, they both have the big stack of cards. They're both wide Euros with lots of decisions that you can make. Very similar in terms of, for me at least, quite similar in terms of feel. But I think, frankly, this is better than both of those games.
I do agree.
I think it's
101%.
This
is
better than both of those.
Before we're going to let's go to the next section. Let's talk about the final thoughts.
Let's do it. So, Matt, give us your final thoughts on SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence.
So my final thoughts. Let's start saying that this game to me is in the expert category.
Agreed.
Would you agree?
100% agreed.
Perfect. It's not intermediate. It's not advanced. It's expert.
It's an expert game.
It could be a little bit, if you are new to the hobby, or if you don't like to have a game, this could be a little bit of a stretch for you. Because there are so many things going on.
Lots of levers you can...
exactly.
Let's do this, press that, spin that.
But in that category, that will have games, as we said, as Terraforming Mars or Ark Nova. This to me is 100% a recommendation for me. I did enjoy deeply playing this game. It's a game that I know if I want to play an heavy Euro game, I will tell you, Wayne, I want to play SETI.
That's a big statement, mate. I think it's a fabulous game. I'm completely with you.
Especially when I managed to do 200 points in a game. That's probably why I loved it so much.
That's why he loves it. But no,
crash them.
I love this game. I think it's great, dude. I am fully with you. It's an expert game for sure. There's a wide, interesting Euro. I think it expresses itself really well. And what I mean by that is, it's not doing anything particularly new, but it's also not doing anything weird or annoying.
No.
There's nothing when I play this
No,
game, I think,
no, no.
it does what I expect it to do, and it's a satisfying, fun gameplay loop.
It goes down like a very good whiskey.
Yeah, like a nice whiskey, a nice space-flavored whiskey?
Space
I don't know.
whiskey.
Space whiskey.
Well, do the astronauts have a whiskey? Do you think the astronauts can
I
drink
want
whiskey?
space whiskey in
What
my
is a
life.
space whiskey?
I don't know, but I want
We
it.
should close this channel and open a whiskey distillery.
Yeah, space whiskey.
Yeah.
You heard it here first. But I think it's a fabulous game, and it's like I said, it's wide, it's crunchy, but in fact, I don't think it's as complicated as all that. I think it's actually quite easy to learn in some ways.
It is.
The rulebook is tremendous,
Yes.
by the way. The rules teach video is
And we
tremendous.
like a very good rule book.
We do,
so
very important.
Good job.
This guide is amazing. All the iconography is clear as day. It was so rare throughout all of these cards that we looked at that I even had to bother with the rules. It's pretty clear what they do. I think it's a tremendous game, and it's definitely a recommendation from me as well.
So, saying that,
Yes.
thumbs up, thumbs down.
Yeah.
Does this game, does SETI receive the Bold Stupid Seal of Excellence? Should we do it?
Let's do it.
3, 2, 1, boom!
Yay!
Of course it does.
Of course it does.
This is probably one of the best games 2024.
Definitely one of the best games this year.
And it is a game that if you are in for an heavier Eurogame, you should definitely have on your table.
Absolutely. So that was our review of SETI, the Search for Extra-terrestrial Intelligence. Matt, what a game.
Absolutely gorgeous, absolutely great to play. So very well done to everybody who works on this project.
Yeah.
And we're probably going to play more now.
Oh, absolutely. So this is a fantastic game. And if you liked this review and you'd like to see more of our reviews and more of our content, you should check out the rest of our content because we've got lots of it.
There's a lot of
Yeah,
stuff there.
absolutely.
Oh, and if you go on the Spiel section, the
Yeah.
Spiel playlist, you can find an interview with Thomas, who is the designer of
So
the
if you
game.
like to,
So
yeah.
it's very
From him.
interesting to understand how he came up about the game and what was his thinking process about the game. So definitely we'll leave the link
Up there,
somewhere.
go check that out, absolutely. And you should certainly, if you liked this, hit the like button so that the great space algorithm god hears our cry and helps us all the way from there. And finally, of course,
Well, hit the subscribe button. Come
please
on,
do.
guys.
Don't be an alien.
be
Join
an
us on
alien.
Earth. Hit the subscribe button. And we'll catch you again real soon. Ciao.
Game reviews for you